Hello and welcome to Politics on Sunday. I am Femi Akonde. We're reaching you live from TVC News Studio in Abuja, the federal capital. Well, today we'll talk about an issue that has dominated talking points across the country, and it raises more questions than answers. That is the controversy raised by U.S. Congressman Scott Perry's claim that the United States Agency for International Development, that's USAID or USAID, funded terrorist organizations, including Boko Haram. This may be some of the missing pieces in the puzzle on how the dreaded terrorist group has been able to survive for more than a decade. But the bigger puzzle now is how the federal government should respond to this. This is a mind-boggling allegation that implicates a broader section of the society beyond the Boko Haram terrorists fighting in the forests of northern Nigeria. This also brings to the fore the vulnerability of developing countries that have become beggarly and will take anything, even if it's against their dignity, humanity, and sovereignty, just to survive. Also, how did these funds slip past Nigeria's government and other institutions? Or are there active collaborators in government, in the armed forces, in civil society, and everywhere among us? Joining me live on the program via Zoom is a former Assistant Director of the Department of State Services, that's the DSS, Mr. Dennis Amakri. Hello, sir. Good to see you, and thank you for joining us on the program. Oh, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, let's get straight into it now. What was your immediate response to this claim made by the gentleman in the U.S. Congress?
Well, you know, this thing has been a secret in plain view. That means
an open secret.
It's been there. A lot of people know about it, but they really cannot put a finger on it. You know, if I remember very well, some weeks ago, the CDS, the Chief of Defense Staff, even said it, you know, that there are some foreign interests in dealing with this Boko Haram terrorist situation, where they are carrying very, very expensive weaponry, brand new guns, and stuff like that. And these guns are just not from them. You know, it must have come from some other areas. And now, of course, we all know about USAID. USAID is, many people don't know, but if you really go and research on the USAID, you will discover that the American government is set up in this way. We have the government itself, and then we have the foreign affairs. Then in between the foreign affairs, we have USAID. And USAID, basically, their budget is huge. And what they basically do is run the CIA. And if you've not heard about the CIA, watch out for that, because these are the guys that actually go out to project the national interest of the United States.
So what's the interest for them?
The interest is to maintain national sphere of influence. Besides sphere of influence, they want to also make sure that they are the ones that are in control of certain things. Remember something, Africa is becoming the bride. It has been the bride for a long time. When even the Europeans came to Africa or sat down in Belgium and divided Africa to themselves, you know. And then, of course, right now, many countries have got independence, but we have what we call extended new colonialism right now, whereby they are still looking at who controls what. You know, the French is there controlling the French West Africa. Britain and America are there controlling the English-speaking West Africa and other parts of Africa. And it's all because of minerals. I don't think that, they think about you as a friend, or they pity some hungry children somewhere. That's why they are pumping millions to go to those kids. That's not true. What they are actually doing is protecting their sphere of interest and the area where they are going to get cheap raw materials for their industries.
But Mr. Amakri, we have agencies of government like the NFIU, the NTCT, that's the National Counter-Terrorism Center. All of these were established, to track this kind of terrorism financing and also intercept and report it. Why have they been ineffective?
It's not a matter of being ineffective. I think they are under deep cover. You've known about USAID. I'm very, very sure. Before now, you've heard of them. Many people have believed it. After the war, they came in with all kinds of food that they were giving to people, and they have been doing health care. They are vaccinating children against polio in Kano somewhere and doing all kinds of things. And people don't really know. The deep dive where they are undercover is what they are doing. And that one is not in the public domain, and it is not in the finances that comes into Nigeria where you get them. Most of them operate through their agents or through NGOs. So that's why you cannot capture it, because you cannot see this money. It is, it's coming to Nigeria, but it's going through other sources.
Okay, now that we are beginning to know, these other sources that these funds are channeled through, shouldn't there, or how do you expect the government to respond to this, to forestall a continuation of this kind of terrorism financing, especially the regulation of non-governmental organizations and other charity groups?
Well, that it's not that we were not aware, or the government is not aware. I can tell you that. The government is aware. I think the National Intelligence Agency, even the DSS, are very, very much aware of these people. And these people are called legal residents. Sometimes you see them, we call them legal residents. Legal residents are actually spies. They are spies that are embedded. They can come in and say they are engineers for Julius Berger. They are civil engineers for Julius Berger. They work there. They are agriculturists. They are helping people to do agriculture. Or they are doctors. They are working in different kinds of hospitals. But their original objective is to protect the interest of their country. So they know. In fact, we are happy that this is happening at this time. It is happening at this time because, of course, Trump just took over. And, of course, the Republican, remember, it's a Republican congressman, Scott Perry, that came up with all these revelations. And it is because they want to, rubbish the previous Democratic government. It is not that they just discovered it. They didn't discover it. It has been there. It has been there. Even when Trump came on his first, right from 1961, when United States USAID was created, this has been going on. And it has been going through Republican and Democratic governments and all the rest until now. And the reason they are just washing this dirty linen in public is because Trump wants to take his pound of flesh from the Democrats who have been harassing him badly.
Well, you talked about, you said this has been happening for a while. The DSS, other intelligence agencies of government are aware of this. You talked about legal residents, people coming in as expatriates, but in the real sense of it, they're actually spies. That also may be because of weak laws, because we have seen in some countries where espionage is it's a grievous offense, and even could get people found to be spies could even be given life sentence or even death sentence.
Death sentence.
Yes,
death
but
sentence.
yes. So could it be because of our weak laws in Nigeria? We know these things, but we cannot do anything about it. It's like the hands of the government and other security agencies are tied.
No, not really exactly, maybe 50-50. What I will tell you is that, espionage is a very, very grievous offense. In most countries, if you are engaging in espionage, especially for illegal residents. Illegal residents, when caught, will be killed. China, Russia, anywhere. Illegal residents, when caught, are killed. The legal ones who are operating from the embassies, when they are found, they deport them. But coming to Nigeria, it's a game. You have to understand that. It's a game because the game starts from the diplomatic Geneva Convention, where all countries have embassies in every other country. Now, these embassies are known. Every country knows that that's where the spies of the country are. Okay? They are there. Nigeria have their own spies who are in their embassies in New York and the consulate in New York and Washington, and everybody knows. And that's why they give them diplomatic immunity because it's allowed. That's the allowed part of it. The illegal residents are the ones that are not allowed, and they can go ahead. Now, the point is that when the country is monitoring them, and there are a lot of them, I know when even I was in service, there are illegal residents that are being monitored very, very closely. And when they catch them, either they will jail them or they send them out of the country depending on the limits of their offense. But this has been going on. It's not a new thing in the world of espionage.
So what should be Nigeria's response now to this revelation? Should it be on the part of government doing maybe an internal search or an internal work to ensure that the system is tightened, or taking a case to the international community like The Hague and other international bodies to seek justice? Because the people of the Northeast are the biggest victims in this. Over a decade of insurgency that has devastated that region, and they still have so much. They are still bearing the brunt of this, and it's still going to take them a long time to recover.
You cannot take it to The Hague to report another country that, hey, these people are operating illegal espionage in my country. That's not how it works, because it is your country, you handle it, because you are also doing it in other countries, But the point is that in Nigeria, now that this has happened, they've even opened up some new vista for us to know that, yes, this is actually happening. The CDS said it, the Chief of Defense Staff, he said it. When he was being interviewed the other day, he said it, that they've been seeing, people will be carrying a truckload of food, say they are bringing it for the IDP camps and stuff like that. On the road, it will break down, and they will say they've been attacked by bandits. They run away. By the time they come, all the food or maybe arms that are inside included, all are gone, empty truck. Okay, so it's known. It's a known fact. The thing is that whether Nigeria is ready to, put some elements to watch at this or try to foil their own plans as they try to come in, because it's a game of cat and mouse. Espionage is a game of cat and mouse. So now that we know that, in fact, there is a concentration of this somewhere, have to start working on ourselves. And like I said it somewhere else, we start looking inwards. Let's look inwards. what is causing this terrorism? You know, how can we stop it? What is causing all these people, you know, running to join the terrorist group? Those root causes why terrorism thrives should be looked at. But unfortunately in Nigeria, right from the time of Jonathan, we've heard that there are even people in government that are part of this. You know, so what the government will do now that they have heard about it and they are very, you know, conscientious about it, is to go after these agents and see how they can, you know, neutralize it.
Well, do you agree with the political angle now to this whole issue? You know, there are allegations that the Boko Haram sect was weaponized to push out the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan, especially with the abduction of the Chibok girls and all other activities that happened within that period leading to the election.
Of course, definitely. Now, when you look at it, look at the process. Can you imagine 290 girls, school children, came in there, taken out, and taken into the forest? Nobody knows where they are. Nobody knows how they were conveyed out. Even if you are taking about 20 students, at least you bring a bus and everybody will know, yeah, this is the bus that is going to carry them. How did these children get out of Chibok? Where were they kept? What were they eating? How were they taken care of? Is it the ragtag terrorists, Boko Haram people that were taking care of them all through there? You know, so you find out that all these, you can see the hands during the campaigns, the foreigners that were visiting Nigeria, very high, top level, you know,
the U.S. Secretary of State.
Coming into Nigeria.
Kerry, yeah.
So you can see the hand sometimes is the hand of Esau, but you know, the hand of Jacob, but you can see the Esau in it or something like that. So it is only the intelligence agency people that can, you know, really identify these things. The ordinary person doesn't have a means of really knowing, you know, except they are directly involved. You know, so these kind of things do happen. And of course, like, you know, let me tell you something. It is not Africa, or should I say Nigeria, is the largest black country in the world. Africa is the depository of most minerals that exist in the world. In fact, even the new technology uses minerals from Africa, right? Starting from oil to precious stones and stuff like that. So this Africa is very, very important. If you read about Kissinger, in those days in American history, the former Secretary of State, he wrote a book. And if you read there, you will see the foreign policy, you know, of the United States and even that of the UK or other countries, France, about Africa. They don't think of you as a country where they are going to deal with you man to man or whatever. As long as they are here, what they are looking at is where is the mineral, how many barrels of oil that we can get, you know, from this place. And remember, anywhere there are solid minerals or there is liquid minerals that are being sorted all over the world, in Africa, there is a war. Anywhere. Congo is one of the largest depositories. There is a war there, ongoing.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, they want to know who will be in influence, and the person who is in influence will control those minerals. Same thing with Libya, same thing with Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, you know, because when you find out, when you look at it, some of these reasons of this destabilization is to make sure that, well, let's destabilize them, and when they are fighting each other, then we can remove our minerals quickly. We have to know that as a country.
Yes, you know, the West was largely blamed for the Arab Spring that toppled the government of Gaddafi and other Arab countries. And here in Nigeria, we've also seen protests, you know, like the Bring Back Our Girls movement. We've seen the End SARS protest. We have seen the End Bad Governance protest. You know, there are also speculations in some quarters that all of these are funded and supported by foreign influences trying to interfere in the affairs of the country. Now, my question is, the key actors in all of these processes, these protests we have seen, are they just pawns? Are they aware that, you know, they are being used or manipulated by these foreign forces? Are they aware of what indeed they are being used to do? If it is true that there are foreign influences and interference in organizing most of these protests?
There are foreign influence. That is a given. Everybody knows that. But sometimes the people that are being used, 50-50, maybe some of them don't even know. They are what we call agents that really they are not there. They are not aware. They are not aware that they are being used, but they are part of the story. You know, I give you an example. There was a time when the Nigerian Labour Congress was having a serious strike, nationwide strike. And you know, if that strike continues for a very long time, it has the ability to topple that government. And it has happened in some other West African countries. When this was going on, I think even the trade unionists were getting tired. Guess who came to their rescue? Gaddafi. Gaddafi came, tried to send money to them so that they can continue the strike. Because see, the idea, like I told you, most of these things is influence. Who controls what? Gaddafi has always had that United States of Africa or Africa as one country, and that's the kind of agenda he was pursuing, you know. Now, people in the labor union might be happy, oh, my friend, Gaddafi has sent us some money, but to what end? Even the leaders, some of them might not, they might think that, oh, Gaddafi is just trying to help, you know, or some people might be aware. So that's what I'm saying, that it's 50-50. We don't know whether they're aware or not, but sometimes it happens. So when you have End SARS, or you have any of these end bad governments and stuff like that, you know, yes, foreign influence might be there, but the people that are carrying it out on ground might not be very much aware of the ulterior motive of the sponsors. And that's what our security agencies are there to do. They are to learn or observe and see exactly what is going on and nip it in the bud.
Oh, wow. Well, also, lastly, before we go, you know, would you say the decision of some Francophone countries to sever ties with France is a sort of renaissance and reawakening of self-consciousness, you know, to the threats that some of these European countries and the West poses to their sovereignty?
Of course, definitely. You know, look at Niger. Niger was having uranium, which is used in nuclear powers. France was buying it at less than $1 a gram. Wine, it is selling at 1,000 something in the market itself. So now that they've taken over the place, and that's why I'm telling you, some of the leaders in Africa are, they are complicit, because the president of Niger at that time definitely knows. They must have had a house for him in Paris and everything. He's living very well and everything, but look at the people. And these are the monies that are supposed to be used for the development of the people. Look at Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
In fact, now they were trying to kill him. Somebody was caught who was bringing cash to make sure that they kill Captain Ibrahim Traore, because he's going against their original plan. And if this guy continues like this, he's changing the world of Burkina Faso people. And the West does not like that.
All right, then. A fine place to leave it. I know we can go on and on, but that's all time will permit. Mr. Dennis Amakre, former director at the Department of State Security, DSS. Thank you so much for your time and for your insight. We value it very much. And that's it on the program today. You can see this episode again on TVC News YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. I am Femi Akonde. See you next time.